Fox and Friends, those three miscreants who sit there and play with themselves in the morning. And in this segment, it was reported that bills have been introduced in at least 6 states that would allow, read force, public school children to study the, don't laugh, historical significance of the Bible. Historical significance. Now, Trump saw that segment and immediately jumped for his Twitter bullshit and tweeted in the morning, right after that appeared on Fox and Friends, quote, numerous states introducing Bible literacy classes, giving students the option of studying the Bible. Starting to make a turn back? Great. Now, of course, this asshole has no say, no formal say in state legislative processes, but the Christian crazy fuckers in this country just love him for the simple reason that he tweets shit like that. They don't care that he is an unconscionable, ignorant, adulterous, lying, cheating, stealing thug. They don't give a fuck about that because they're Christians. Now, this proposed legislation, of course, has drawn objections, should be from everybody, but it's from groups seeking to protect the separation of church and state. And the groups argue that these bills are backdoor attempts to promote Christianity in public schools. Now, one of the assholes that appeared on Fox and Friends that got Trump's attention was a guy named Aaron McWilliams, a Republican state rep from North Dakota, one of the states where they're deciding such bills. And this jerk ass said, quote, there's a separation of church and state, but there's not a separation of books from education. What? Books from like the Bible will educate you. Well, if these Christian sons of bitches want to talk about the historical significance of Christianity, or the Bible, it's about Christianity. Jews aren't pushing this. Muslims aren't pushing this, obviously. Hindus aren't pushing this. Buddhists aren't pushing this. It's these Christians. All right, Christians, if you want the students to get the historical significance of the Bible and in the Bible, then let them learn about rape, murder, incest, extermination of whole peoples, destruction, lies, cheating. Go ahead. And then tell them the truth of how the Bible has been used to eliminate hundreds of millions of people from this planet. Start with women. Start with the witch burnings. Come on, you Christian fuckers. If you want the students to understand the historical significance of the Bible, you two-faced hypocrites, then start with the blood and violence and destruction that your so-called holy book has perpetrated against the human race. If you would do that, I will support you. You start with the vicious, violent nastiness. Tell them about the Holocaust. Show your students pictures of Christian priests giving the Nazi salute with Nazi officers around while little Jewish kids were being fucking burned alive in crematoria. Teach your little darlings about the various forms of murder and torture that was used in Spain during the Inquisition there. Tell the kids how the Jews in Spain and the Moors in Spain were fucking dismembered while they were alive, a la Mr. Khashoggi, by the Saudis. You want to educate your kids on the historical significance of the Bible? Tell them about the daughters of Lot who got dad drunk and then fucked his eyes out so they could get pregnant. And if you follow the lineage from Lot, it leads right to the house of David, right to the birth of the baby Jesus, to an unwed 14-year-old girl who had been raped by somebody who then told her, "Oh, I'm an angel. Not to worry, you're going to give birth to the Messiah." Tell them about that. I double dog dare you. The other states where such bills are under consideration, other than North Dakota, include Missouri, Indiana, West Virginia, Virginia, and Florida. Of course. Last year, the so-called Bible literacy, you cowardly sons of bitches, why don't you Christians just tell the truth? You fuckers are incapable, aren't you? Why don't you say this has nothing to do with Bible literacy? This has to do with grabbing as many of these young minds we can grab and brainwash them into our fucked up cult, our blood cult called Christianity. Why don't you tell the truth instead of calling it Bible literacy? The historical significance. Jesus God. But last year, these so-called Bible literacy bills were considered in at least 3 other states: Alabama, Iowa, and West Virginia. None passed, according to ACLU, which opposes the efforts to do this. Dirty commies. Lawmakers in Kentucky passed legislation a couple of years ago creating state regulations for public high schools to offer elective literature courses on the Bible and Hebrew scriptures. Oh, I'm sure the Jews were behind that one. Not. I can just hear the Christians in their executive sessions. Well, we have to hide the fact that we're pushing. I tell you what, let's include something on Hebrew scriptures. And everybody in the room said, "What the fuck's that?" "Oh, you know, the Old Testament." "Oh, you mean the ones about genocide and rape and murder and incest and drunkenness and violence and the murder of children and the murder. Is that what you mean?" "Yeah, that." You can get that from studying the rise and fall of Nazism. Now, Trump, this slimy dog, has made repeated overtures to the evangelical Christian community since he became president. He even advocated abolishing that part of the tax code that bans tax-exempt churches from supporting political candidates. And the fact that he even brought that up has led a number of these evangelical fuckers now to tell their congregations, especially the ones that have radio programs, well, we're not going to pay any attention to that anymore. Our preachers have the right of free speech. They can stand in the pulpit and tell you anything they want to. Well, they have been for hundreds of years. They've been telling people they're going to burn to death in hell if they don't accept this blood cult at face value. Gee, this is just insane. Now remember, Trump, he's the one, when he was romancing these evangelical fools, when he was stroking their scrotal sacks and trying to get them to accept him and give them her vote, that's when he referred to 2 Corinthians. Remember that? Well, he's an avid reader of the Bible, don't you know? 2 Corinthians during a speech at Liberty University. And even those poor brainwashed students, if you want to call them that, had to giggle and laugh and hoot and holler about that one. 2 Corinthians, huh? 2 Samuel. and so on, and so on. Christians and anti-vaxxers and people who deny global warming, I cannot and don't care to even attempt to understand you crazy bastards. I really don't. I just wish you would go live on some other fucking planet in some other universe. I really do.
Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity. But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcasts. You have your choice. You can listen to the ranting with the audio podcast or listen and watch me lose control with a video podcast subscription. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com, and never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.